the raids started to happen, when they went to Young Thug's house, they found a gun with a switch, which is, a conversion into an automatic. That by itself is 10 years. That alone, you get them on nothing else. That one gun by itself is 10 years. Plus they found some drugs at the house. And there's just, I read through the whole indictment. It's insane. They had text messages all over the place.
Wow.
They have social media posts, and, everyone's focusing on the lyrics. And yes, some of the lyrics might look bad to a jury, but really the case is not focused on the lyrics. It's text messages, it's this. They have something called stingrays at the prison. So some of the phone calls and texts that were being made in prison, they've intercepted those, and they found burner phones based on these interceptions. And it's, they've triangulated the crimes to put certain people in those locations, phone calls that were made before and after the crime to people in prison and out of prison. And
wow.
It's
so they got that kind of evidence on
them? They
them?
have that type of evidence. And what's interesting also, I interviewed George Cheedy. He's a journalist from Atlanta that really let us know that this was about to come, and has been covering this really profusely. He's been studying the whole thing for a while. What George told me is that the prosecution has not released all the evidence to the lawyers yet. They're keeping a lot of stuff secret until the very last minute.
Yeah.
You know about this tactic, right?
Yeah.
How's that legal, by the way?
Called Brady versus Maryland. Well, as long as they give you enough time to investigate it, like the court set a date. Mm-hmm. Brady material, it's called Brady material. So they set a certain date, the Brady material must be turned over. And at that date is when you're going to get it. You're not going to get it before that.
Aha.
Yeah, the prosecutors would be crazy to give it to you early. Unless, when they got a rock solid case, they might do that. But if it's any chance that, that the Brady material is going to help you, they're going to give it to you at the last minute.
Right. So they're keeping all the evidence to themselves. They keep trying to push back the trial date. And even when they do set the trial date, once they release all the evidence, then the defense is probably going to have to push back the trial date because they're going to need time to review everything and create a defense out of all this mountain of new information.
Yeah, they may.
Right.
They don't have to, but they probably will.
They probably will because they want to defend their clients.
Right. You want the best opportunity you can. You're supposed to give him the best representation that you can get him.
Well, two of the guys are multimillionaires. The other 26 are not, but two of the guys are multimillionaires. So you have a situation where this trial, if everyone's lucky, will probably not start until the middle of 2023. And Boosie said something interesting. When I talked about how, with this many people, what do you think is going to happen? And he said, well, you can't shake a bag with 28 eggs and expect none of them to crack.
I was like, man, I don't know, bro. Once it go to trial, and I hear the evidence and see how bad it is. But like I told him, it's hard to put 28 eggs in a crate and shake all of them and none of them don't crack.
What everyone is saying is kind of likely is that, and it's actually already happening is that people are actually doing proffer agreements already and are already starting to kind of cooperate against each other.
Well, that's normal though. But I don't see where having the kind of evidence that you saying that the government has already, I don't see why they even need anybody to cooperate. When you got that kind of rock solid evidence, nobody's going to argue with text messages, records where they can show you at this place and that place. They convict us on hearsay evidence. Like I saw him one day with some drugs, that was 3 years ago.
That's how you got convicted?
Yeah. That kind of evidence.
Hearsay.
Yeah,
it's so interesting how these types of cases are so skewed to the government, I feel.
When you say skewed, what does that mean?
Meaning that a proffer agreement, I feel, should just be illegal. Right? The fact that in a proffer agreement, you could say, hey, I saw Rick, me and Rick went and did a murder, and me and Rick sold 20 tons of cocaine, and me and Rick did all this, drive-by shootings and everything. So go ahead and use all the stuff against Rick, and you can't use anything you said against me.
Well, but if they didn't do that, then they would lose a lot of their cases.
Well, yeah, as they should. It would seem to me that if you're confessing and you're involving yourself in a crime, you should be now liable for that crime as well.
Well, you are, but the government forgives you. They didn't say that you're not liable for the crime. They're just saying that we're not gonna make you do the time. That's really when they make those deals with the people, they never say that he's not guilty of the crime.
Right, but they say that everything he says in that room cannot be used in a court of law at all.
Against him.
Against him.
Right. That's what I'm saying. They're not saying that he didn't do the crimes.
Right.
They're just saying we're not gonna charge you with them.
Yeah.
You still a piece of shit motherfucker, basically. Like, you the scum of the earth, but we're gonna do a deal with you.
Yeah.
We'll work with you. We'll take your testimony and take it in front of a jury and see when they tell the jury about your friend if they believe you.
Yeah.
And then when you tell the story about how you guys ran together and the jury probably gonna look at me and say, when you and him was running together, he's a piece of shit, you a piece of shit too. And put you in jail, and he gonna go out and do somebody else.